LiveLine on RTE Radio 1. Sponsored by the all-new Nissan Micra. Easily the best Micra ever.
1850 715 815.
Hello, good afternoon, and you're very welcome to LiveLine. 51551 is our text number, 1850 715 815 if you just heard, and Joe at RT.ie, and the Rubberbandits apparently are a comedy hip-hop duo. I've known about them for a couple of years now. The main identifiable feature I could see is that the two of them wear these plastic bags over their heads with the eyes cut out. They're two lads from Limerick. But Anthony, good afternoon.
Hi, Joe.
You contacted us about the Rubberbandits. What's the problem?
Joe, the problem with the Rubberbandits at the moment is the new video that they have out. It's portraying Limerick in an awful light, I think, and it's also portraying drug use in the video as well as acceptable. So I have a huge problem with it, as I imagine a lot of people have, and there's absolutely no need for it, and there's a huge push on to make it number one for Christmas.
That's right, yeah.
It's a joke. I think there's far more pressing issues out there at the moment. And also that Willie O'Dea, our former Minister for Defence here in Limerick, has come out and is supporting them to go to number one with this song as well. And
but just for people who haven't seen the video, Anthony, what's in it?
Well, the video really is two individuals getting married inside in a church.
Mm-hmm.
At the start of the video, before they go in, there's a video camera on the guests. One of the guests says that he hopes that when the couple get married, that they don't, we'll say, stop their parties in their house and the usage of drugs. And he actually says himself that usage by his parents of drugs in the household did him no harm. That was the first thing. Halfway through the song, one of the Rubberbandits, whatever his name is, comes out and says he bought this particular horse in 1992 for a bag of yolks. Now, for those who wouldn't be in the terminology of drugs, yolks are ecstasy. That's what they are. Now, this is what we're trying to make number one for Christmas. I think it's an absolute disgrace. I think Limerick has a bad enough name already. You know, there's a lot of people here in Limerick City at the moment trying to portray Limerick in a great light, and it is a wonderful city, wonderful people, and we certainly don't need these coming out acting as scumbags, shall we say, going on the radio, going on television and portraying the city in that light.
Well, they've been on the Republic of Telly all this season, so that's where they're getting their big break at the minute. The song is called Horse Outside, obviously by the Rubberbandits. So we want to hear a little bit of it. And it's very hard to find a bit that doesn't mention, that doesn't have the F word in it, as they say, but go ahead.
I've a horse outside, if you're looking for a ride. I've a horse outside. She said, I don't believe you. I said it's true. I swapped him for a bag of Yorks in 1992.
Okay, that's your bag of yolks. And
that's the bag of yolks, Joel. It's plain as day. I mean, you know, yolks are ecstasy. Let's get it right. We had a primetime special investigates here in Limerick last week, and it showed us many a family who've had people shot, killed. We've seen homes wrecked. And we've got these two idiots coming along portraying themselves as these scumbags, and we want to make them number one for Christmas. I mean, what type of a society have we become at all? It's a joke. And the young people of Ireland are to listen to this and buy this, etc. Now, I'm not up in my hierarchy about anything, but what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And on Mr. Willie O'Dea, as I say, our former Minister of Defence, to come out and support this act and to support that song to go to number one for Christmas is an absolute joke, and it's just typical of a member, former member of the
Okay. Well, 51551 is our text number. Willie O'Dea is there. Willie O'Dea TD for Limerick. Willie, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thanks for taking our call. You heard Anthony there. Mm-hmm. He raised. What do you think? You do say you hope it will be number one Christmas.
Well, I do because I'm supporting Limerick. Obviously, there are a couple of Limerick lads, and far from it damaging the image of Limerick. I mean, I think that if it goes to number one, it'll reflect well on Limerick. It's another successful Limerick. I mean, I've listened to Anthony there. I don't doubt his sincerity, but as you said yourself in your intro, they're a comedy. It's a comedy. You know, they're a comedy duo, comedy musical hip hop duo, and it's meant to be funny, and it is funny, and it does this thing in a very it does this thing in a very exaggerated way, which I think anybody won't take too seriously.
Sorry, just if I could, but the usage of druggage, the image inside, you reckon that's acceptable and that shines a great light on Limerick City? Is that what you're saying?
It's crude, certainly, and the language is crude. But I mean, I found it hilariously funny. And if you take into account the fact that I think over 1.5 million people have now clicked into it on YouTube, obviously there's an awful lot more than me who are enjoying it. And people, and it isn't. Look, I represent Limerick. I meet in Limerick people all the time, and I mean, what I find in the working class areas in Limerick in particular is a great pride about the fact that people, two local lads who are obviously very intelligent, very, very musically orientated, and can be very, very funny, have the prospect of topping the charts at Christmas and even beating the guy who won the X Factor. I mean, an awful lot of Limerick people are very proud of that.
And
I don't think, if you talk about the image of Limerick, I mean, we're all working very hard on the image of Limerick, and I mean, the image of Limerick has been befouled by a few people who are involved in very serious crime, very serious drug selling, etc. I mean, there's no suggestion that the lads who made this record are involved in any of that sort of activity.
I'm sorry,
if anything, they're lampooning. In fact, if anything, they're lampooning that image of Limerick, which I think is very good.
Willie, in all fairness, at the start of the video, at the very start of the video, the individual says, okay, that he came from a house that parties where the usage of drugs and etc. were taking place and it did him no harm. Halfway through the song, the individual in the Rubberbandits says that he bought the horse in 1992 for a bag of yolks, which is ecstasy.
What's a bag of yolks, Willie?
You're saying that that's okay.
Maybe Willie, what is a bag of yolks in Limerick?
I'm not quite sure, to be honest with you, Joe. I'm not quite sure. I didn't get that from it. But anyway, look, if it does mean a bag of, if it does mean drugs, or if it does mean that, let's face facts. I mean, in the working class areas in Limerick and outside the working class areas, not only in Limerick, Dublin, Waterford, Cork, every urban area in the country.
No, we're speaking about Limerick here. We're not about anywhere else. Drugs is a facet of life, and I think this song, this act, as it were, this video, is lampooning that image of Limerick, because there's a movement at the moment in the national media, which I detect all the time, to present Limerick as the only place where that sort of thing is going on. This more or less lampoons what's happening in Limerick, and it reminds us. I think that it's a kind of you could do the very same thing, Joe, in your home area of Ballyfermot. You could do it in Garuna Braher down in Cork. You could do it from Waterford, Galway, whatever. Limerick is not unique in that, but sensible people know that, and sensible people will have a good laugh at this thing, and that's what people are doing, and that's what the people in Limerick that I meet are doing.
Well, Anthony,
that's what I did, I must say.
Anthony, you expressed concern that was coming off the back of that Primetime Investigates piece.
I do, and I think Mr. O'Dea is speaking.
Try. Are you walking with your phone, Anthony? I don't know what you...
No.
Is there any way we can get you to a landline? It's just...
I don't...
okay, hold it up. Sure. Okay. The Primetime Investigates, you feel it comes off the back of that?
Well, I do. Like, it was an awful show for Limerick. It showed the insights of what drugs have done and how they are ripping the community apart. And to have these two Muppets come along and on a national scale, and as we said, 1 million views on YouTube, it's an absolute disgrace with the usage of drugs and etc. and how it's acceptable. And for the former minister of this current government to come along and say it's okay, he supports it and he finds it funny, well, it just sums it all up.
Well, I suppose, Anthony, it shows that, like some people obviously have a sense of humour. And I mean, to say the fact that 1.5 million people have clicked into it and obviously have enjoyed it. I mean,
well, Anthony,
I don't question their right to like it or not to like it if that is their wish.
They're actually laughing at Limerick.
If that is their wish, they're not laughing at Limerick. They're laughing at the lampooning. They're laughing at the way this aspect of Limerick is being lampooned. The way this aspect of Limerick is being presented in the national media is being lampooned by these two lads. That's exactly what they're laughing at, Anthony. I meet them all the time. It doesn't come off the
Willie, in fairness, I think you were caught in the hop. You were caught in the hop because you couldn't even tell Joe there what yolks were.
Well, look, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter what they are, Anthony. And if they are, if they are as you say, it's simply reflecting reality on the ground. It's simply reflecting reality, not just in Limerick, but in every town and city in the country.
So you find it hilariously funny, as you said, that it's
I find it funny, Anthony, and what I really think is that rather than putting your head in the ground and pretending that none of this sort of stuff is happening. I
Well,
think,
no,
you know,
Willie,
we
I
better
think
off the
it would
face
be
up
far
there.
better if we
And
put out a more
you say,
positive view of
actually, if you
Limerick
just,
rather than
but you say,
Hang on, one
Anthony,
at a time.
but you say, Anthony, that you say this, you know, it's damaging the reputation of Limerick. I think the reputation of Limerick would be damaged far, far more if we were put across as a sort of a dour, humorless people who don't even have the capacity to laugh at
Well,
ourselves.
if this is all we can find to sing out there the humorous, we're
But
in
it's
an
not,
awful
it's
state
not all we
altogether,
can find. But it's not all we can find, Anthony. Sure, there's loads of stuff that you should be promoting now that you've got your chance in the national airways.
Okay, Willie, okay, I know,
all,
we know.
all the good aspects
I know,
of
it's
Limerick.
brilliant.
You should be ringing Joe Duffy talking about those things rather than focusing on the negative.
Yeah, Willie, but in fairness now, there is a campaign to get this to number one. It's getting an awful lot of publicity, and Anthony contacting, he's well entitled to make his mind. Did you look at the lyrics, Willie O'Dea?
I did.
And it has the Paul Gaugerty phrase, "F-U," except...
Indeed, very much so. It's
and you use it using it the way Paul Gaugerty used it. F-U Honda Civics, F-U Subaru, F-U Mitsubishi. It's effing true. And then F-U again, the whole list. It also says...
It's very crude. It's toilet humor.
Like even phrase like, he looks like Billy Piper after a half an ounce of Coke. I mean, everyone, I presume, knows that Coke is harmful and should be totally condemned.
Well, of course they do, Joe. I mean, the first hit, or the first record made by that particular group was about my good self, and I was remorselessly lampooned. And I didn't get up on my high horse or go ringing you or making all sorts of protests. I laughed at the thing because it was funny. And I mean to say, you know, we have to have the capacity to laugh at ourselves and to face reality. And if these guys go to number one, it's toilet humour, it's crude, obviously it's crude. It's like Brendan O'Connor, who people can like or dislike depending on their particular taste.
I think you're mixing up with Brendan O'Carroll, are you?
Brendan O'Carroll, my apologies.
Brown,
who people can like or dislike according to their taste. It is crude. It's I suppose toilet humour you describe it as. But sometimes people use that form of humour to make a deeper point.
Okay, Bridget Kerwin. What's that? Oh, this is the Willie O'Dea rap, sorry.
Now here's a little story all about how my life got flipped on the upside down. There was a Saturday and I was walking around town. The sky was black and blue as the wind fell down. I was bored. There was nothing to do, not a bjort to get back, not a bag of clothes. So I sat down, picked up a couple of scrolls and I flicked them at a card and then looked at my show. They were dirty. It said about 2:30 on my watch and those lots of spots on my crotch. So I look across the road and what do I see? It's Willie O'Dea, he's walking over to me. Man, Willie O'Dea, what can you do for me? Are you gonna give me hash?
Sure, that's an anthem to Willie O'Dea, is it, Willie?
You played the best part of it, I think. You know.
Well, does it say "F-U Willie O'Dea" in it?
You didn't. Well, it says it portrays me as selling hash and.
It is, Willie. They're laughing at you, Willie. They're laughing at you.
Swearing in my hash that is good hash. Well, they can laugh at me. I mean,
they're laughing at you. I mean, in fairness, you were voted in as the minister of the government.
And I can laugh at myself. Well, maybe the fact that I have a sense of humour helped me to be voted in as a TD. I can laugh at myself.
Well, fair play to you, Willie.
A million and a half people have clicked on this. It may be.
That's what I don't like, Willie. They can laugh at you for all they want.
They're not laughing at Limerick. They're not laughing.
Bridget, the lyrics are there up on the website. It's called, stay there for a sec, Horse Outside. Is Bridget Kerwin Coyle there in Galway? Bridget.
Hello, Joe. How are you?
You've seen the lyrics of...
I have. My sons, aged 14 and 15, were watching it on YouTube the other night, and they called me over to watch it. And I have to say, I'm in full agreement with that first man who came on, who thinks it's absolutely crude. Not only...
Yeah, well, Willie O'Dea says, get a sense of humour.
Well, Willie O'Dea has himself said that it's a toilet sense of humour. So if that's his sense of humour, that's fine. Let him keep it to himself. If that's reflecting reality, maybe it is in certain sections of society, but it certainly isn't in the circles I move in. I think it's disgusting. It's also very demeaning to women.
It's not reflecting reality in Limerick. It
is,
generally, it's reflecting reality. It's reflecting reality in similar parts of Galway, you have similar parts of Cork, similar parts of Dublin. We all know that.
I didn't say it's reflecting. I didn't say it's reflecting reality in Limerick.
But
you yourself said it's reflecting reality. I said in certain sections of society, maybe.
Yeah, well, I mean to say,
did you watch
in certain sections of reality, in certain sections of society breach in every city in the country.
Did you watch Prime Time last week?
And you yourself said it's toilet humour.
It is toilet humour. It's the sort of humour used by people like Brendan, like comedians like Brendan O'Connell who have a big following. They mightn't be your cup of tea or somebody else's cup of tea, but they have a big following. There is a market for
absolute rubbish. How could you compare Brendan O'Connell in any way towards that rubbish?
Well, I compare him in the sense of the F use of the F word.
Question: did you watch Prime Time last week?
Well, it's on several times. Which one did you mean? Which one do you mean?
Prime time. I mean, we're speaking about Limerick, so Limerick is what I'm.
Oh yes, I
about.
saw that program, of course. Yeah.
You did, yeah. And I mean, do you think that this video